Alright, what's going on guys? Slim here and welcome back to another video on the channel. And in today's video, I have the best level 170 Supreme balance build for y'all, including obviously PvE and PvP. Now, keep in mind, this stuff is subjective. I try to get the best stats possible with the most damage and stuff like that. And obviously, in PvP, it's kind of up to you with what you want to run. But I'm going to use what works for me and what I see a lot of other balance wizards running that are high ranked in the meta currently. So let's start off with the PvE setup. It's going to be the same template I run for every other school, but if you haven't seen those videos yet, well, we'll get right into things right away here. So I have 261 damage, which is absolutely insane for a balance. I have 44 universal resist, which is really good. I have perfect accuracy to balance my shadow hits and my regular cards. I could fizzle an aura pop, yeah, but you don't typically run that in PvE. And if you want to power an aura pop, you could simply, swap to a 16% balance jewel. But I run the universal one personally. Then next we have 713 crit, pretty good. 561 block, pretty good. Only 27 pierce, which again is all the setups I'm running right now. They're like 27 to like 31, 32 pierce in PvE. Now, the reason I do this is because simply you hit through a brace and a fortify more often than you hit through a tower in my experience. So just having enough to pierce the fortify and the brace and, like half of a tower, it's good enough for me because you get 50 damage compensated for that like 25 pierce or whatever you're losing. So personally, I prefer the damage, but you could, trade off some damage duels for pierce if you want, but personally, I prefer this. And I have 103 pip chance, 61 pip conserve, and 1 piece shad rating. So basically, I'm running Aeon Hat since Nightmare is not out. Nullity Robe for level 160. You cannot upgrade this to 170. Not yet. Aeon Boot, obviously. Aeon Sword, obviously. Reaver Knife. I am missing a couple of health sockets, so you could probably add like 1400 health to the setup. So you're sitting around like 13,000 health, which is really good. I have the Reaver Amulet as well. You could run the Shababa one. It's not bad, or the Hunhao. But I like this one because the 30 Balance Blade item card. It's really helpful. Then I have the Reaver Ring, obviously with, the damage sockets. All damage for the sword with the set bonus as well. And then obviously the Reaver deck with a D-Lance, which is pretty cool for solo questing, and obviously a damage socket. So we have 2 damage sockets right here, 1 on the amulet, 1 on the ring, and 1 on the deck for 5. So yeah, I like this setup a lot. You do a lot of damage, you got good resist, a lot of health, really good cards, you're a tank. I just really like balance right now in PvE as of this update, and that's not something I could really say before in previous updates in the past. So I think that's pretty darn cool in my opinion. So now we're on to the balanced PvP setup. Now I've been having a lot of fun on the balance. It is like the best school still right now. The only school you can probably lose to is like Myth probably, but even then I've been bringing it really close when the myths are set for balance and I'm not set back. I'm talking like they're 1 health and I die by nothing when they're pinned and I'm not. So ultimately, I'm going to have to recommend Myth Pin on your balance if you're going to run a shield pin. So I will show you the stats right away. We have a little under 13k health, which is your health cap in PvP. So really good stuff. 181 damage, also really high for a balance. It's incredible. 71 resist, which is also, again, pretty freaking good. Very solid. We like that. 35 accuracy as well. So I can't Fizzle Kraken or Triton or Barrier Catalan if I wanted to run that. good accuracy to life, myth, and death, and obviously full accuracy for balance, including aura pop. So essentially, I can myth banshee, I can quake sometimes, I can centaur if I want, I can banshee pretty much all the time. You do have a 1% chance to fizzle banshee, but I mean that's like astronomically low. You can't really do better than that. So you have really good accuracy to Kraken, myth banshee, centaur if you want, banshee in general, and do your own spells. So really good accuracy there. 579 crit, which is a little low, and you'll see why in a moment here. And then a little under 600 block at the moment. Then I have 54 pierce, which is my cap right now. Then we have 86% pip conserve, 104 pips, and obviously we have the two-piece shad right there. And obviously we have 200 arch mastery, which is pretty good to have in general. So what I'm running is the stable Skyfarer's hat. Now I am gonna recommend putting on you know, these pins for storm right here. I just recently farmed a couple, so that's why I didn't have them on. But be sure you have storm damage pins and storm accuracy pins for Kraken. You can thank me later. But yeah, we have the Skyfarer's hat with everything storm. And we have the balanced Nightmare coat with everything storm again. And then we have the burrow boots with everything storm. Now, keep in mind, guys, I am going to be recommending myth pin. If you play well and you have myth pin, you should be beating them. Like I said, I've been almost beating people, literally sniping me with like 1,000 block rating when I'm not pinned back. So simply, if you are myth pinned back on your balance, you should be okay, and you should honestly probably win every game. I think I haven't actually made my myth block pin yet, so I need to do that before I stream and PvP again. So definitely get a myth block pin right here for PvP, and again, obviously storm stuff on your boots. We have the Aeon sword with storm damage. Now this is really nice, obviously because we're dual schooling storm, but also we get a max tier item card Kraken in our main deck, which is very, very helpful. I like that a lot. We have the Reaver knife as well with double pierce and obviously a nice little health jewel. We have the Reaver amulet, which is pretty solid. You get a main deck weakness and a main deck blade, which is very, very helpful for PvP. And again, really solid stats on the amulet. You could run Hunhao amulet. That's also a really, really good amulet. I'm gonna run that when I beat the raid, or if I ever beat the Kung Sky raid. So I will be getting that when I get the chance. Reaver ring with again pierce and a health socket. Then we have a normal pet right here. Now I am gonna recommend the beetle pet. I don't have it made just yet, unfortunately, y'all. You could run a set bonus pet like this one, also not terrible, but I would prefer having either a deadly null dragon or a beetle pet, and I would recommend getting pain giver instead of bounce giver, since again we are dual schooling. Then we have Clockwork Courser and the Void cards. Now this is what's a bit different from my setup than a couple of other Bounce Wizard setups. Simply, I'm running this for the pip conserve, and there is a, you know, a bit of side benefits to it too. Like an item card Scorpion is really, really helpful on a balance. You get a bit more arch mastery compared to the Reaver deck as well. I know you lose a lot of crit and some health, but I think having the arch mastery and pip conserving on a balance and that triangle socket and an item card that you can actually use means a lot. So I really like this deck personally. If you have the, what's it called, Skyfarer's deck, that's also an S tier deck. Would recommend getting that if you don't have it. I simply don't have it right now, but I think the Void deck is honestly pretty good. So I'm gonna recommend Void deck or Skyfarer's balance deck for this slot right here, guys. But yeah, what do you guys think about the setup? Do you like it? What would you change? I like it a lot because balance is really important to pip conserve on. So that's why I wouldn't recommend like Shababa Wand or like the Reaver deck really, because then you give up all your pip conserve and then you run into a spot where you're running Mock, Burn, you know, Chimera, you know, Scarab, a lot of things, and you just don't pip conserve and you lose value. So that's why I like the setup on the balance. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below, and I will see you guys on the next one. I think the next one will be the ice video. I think I have that good to go. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you like the video, and take care.